Now, here are your hosts, Hank Davis and Mello Betts.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the NFL Fan Podcast. I'm your host, former professional athlete Hank Davis, and you're tuned in to TPEnetwork.com. Joining me on the line, as he often does, he is our resident professor of sports and the gambling guru himself. He's Mello Betts. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing very well, my friend.
Awesome. Lots to cover today.
Okay.
So I think instead of starting out with the news, we're going to start out with a conspiracy sports moment of the week.
It's time for the conspiracy sports moment of the week.
All right, we've got to dive into the fiasco that is Tim Brown and Bill Callahan. So according to receiver Tim Brown, it's no surprise John Gruden's Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I want quotes around that. That's really our boys Buccaneers team.
That's Dungy's team.
That he just happened to win with. They thrashed the Raiders 48-21. That was back in Super Bowl 37. And Tim Brown believes it's because the Raiders were sabotaged by Bill Callahan. He was the team's head coach at the time. He changed the game plan at the last minute. Brown said that when the Raiders got the game plan on Monday before the Super Bowl, it was a run-heavy attack, taking advantage of the Raiders' size advantage on the offensive line. However, Callahan scrapped that idea by Friday, and it was a plan that was meant to shock the team. And so Tim Brown called it sabotage. Maybe worded it a little incorrectly. So he said because Callahan and Gruden were friends, Callahan had a big problem with the Raiders, and he hated the Raiders. So therefore, he put them in that bad position. All right. So also we got to remember, Brown said that center Barrett Robbins, who disappeared from the team days before the game, begged Callahan not to change the game plan. Barrett Robbins is someone who suffers from bipolar disorder. And so when you throw people in those high-pressure situations and they already are dealing with those types of chemical imbalances, sometimes they can have adverse effects, and that situation did. Barrett Robbins didn't play in that game. So here are the exhibits, Your Honor. Exhibit A, Tim Brown is from Texas, does radio shows in Texas, has told this story quite a few times. Mello, coincidentally, this is the 10-year anniversary of the situation. Also, Exhibit C, Bill Callahan happens to be up for the offensive coordinator job in Dallas. Hugh Jackson is alleged to also be up for this job. People will remember Hugh Jackson as another former Oakland Raider head coach. Dallas hosts a game against the Raiders in 2013. So, Mello, is this just a big drama fest? Or is there something deeper that we're missing here?
He's backpedaled, Brown, that is, a little bit on the sabotage word. And I was listening to Lincoln Kennedy say that he said, I had a bad game and gave up a couple sacks. And he said that he just doesn't believe that the coach would sabotage the team like that. I don't know how to make heads or tails of this situation because, all right, you're going to come with this big run-oriented thing, and then at the last minute you say, no, let's just go back to passing because that's what we do best. The Barrett Robbins thing, something had to set him off, Yeah. He wouldn't have just no-showed for no reason. So when I heard this story, I said, that makes perfect sense. He's got to change all those calls. He's got one day to do it in. That didn't seem very fair.
No, it didn't.
So, but I mean, you're coach of a team and you hate the team. Can that even be? I mean, that doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I'm thinking, and this is just my gut feeling. I have no proof, but I'm thinking Joe needs an out. He needs an out on. He either needs an out of why he's not going to give Bill Callahan that offensive coordinator job, or he wants to firmly have it in everybody's mind that, well, maybe you can't trust Bill in case he has to get rid of him at the end of the season or something. I don't know. It just
that would be diabolical.
That would be cruel and evil. And that's why I think
Joe. Yeah.
That's why I think Jerry Jones is capable of something like that.
I would be glad when the dust settles on this, because to me, there's still more questions than answers. And how are you ever going to, I mean, with so many different people saying different things, how are you ever going to get the truth of this whole situation? There's no way Callahan is going to ever admit to throwing the game, even if he did throw the game. He's never going to admit to that. Even under oath, he wouldn't admit to that.
No, so either it's that scenario or Jerry just wants to build that New York-style drama.
I wouldn't put him past that, because he loves the attention.
We got a home game against the Raiders. You know, let's make this bigger than life and stuff. Is he giving them plays? Come to the game and find out.
Oh, boy. You know, if Tim Brown has been saying this for 10 years, why are we just getting a whiff of it now? Why didn't that turn up on anybody's radar 2 years ago, let alone 10?
Because honestly, it's you know, just as unimportant now as it was then, but it's just a good story. You know, 10-year anniversary.
I thought it was Gruden and his knowledge of the quarterback Gannon is what the sellout was.
Yeah, that was the real problem. The game plan wasn't the problem. You could have tried to do whatever you wanted to. You weren't winning that game when your head coach is firmly entrenched in one of the greatest talent rosters in NFL history.
Yeah, this is true.
That Tony Dungy put together, by the way.
That's true also.
Shall we get to the news after that silliness?
It's time for the news, a roundup of all the biggest headlines.
All right. Nearly 48 million people watched Sunday's AFC Championship game, while 42 million saw the NFC title game. That's according to Nielsen. So it's the fourth straight year the championship games each drew at least 41 million viewers. Mello, that's amazing, but shouldn't that be reversed? Because the AFC Championship game was boring for most of the game.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
Yeah, I guess it was the anticipation of the AFC game was going to be a better matchup than that, but it didn't really work out so well for T-Braid and the boys, now did it?
No, not at all. And it was just a boring game to me.
It was. And you know, as we're texting through the game, I just kept thinking, you know, eventually the Ravens are going to wake up and start playing some football, because I have been petitioning for a while that they should be a little more vertical and have a more exciting offense. It took them a while to get going, but they finally got it together.
Yeah. You give anybody that many opportunities, and eventually they're going to pull through. But
yeah, that was not the best Patriots play. Not just so much that the Ravens were all over them or whatever and stuff, but I just didn't think the Patriots were that sharp. And then once the Ravens started with the knockout blows, boy, that was just like, you guys aren't really going to be able to come back from this.
No, not at all. Too many. They don't have enough. Patriots really don't have a lot of named players, if that makes sense. You know, big name.
True. And they are a system type team, and if you can knock them off their square, they're not that dangerous.
I like that expression. Knock them off their square. I like that. But is this indicative of the fans forgiving the NFL, or is this just, hey, it's a 500-pound gorilla, can't be stopped, regardless of lockouts or whatever?
Yeah, I think it's both, really. You know, they are that huge monster that nobody's going to really be able to challenge or take down. And I just think fans can say, oh, I'm mad and all this, that, and the other thing, but you're like sheep. You just get back into line and just get herded to wherever they're leading you, the slaughter or whatever it's going to be.
Bad.
Bad news.
Much has been made about Bill Belichick's decision to skip his post-game interview with CBS correspondent Steve Tasker following the Patriots' loss. But John Harbaugh only had great things to say about Belichick. He said that Belichick approached him before the game and asked if they should just skip the handshake deal. And he said, no, I want to do it, win or lose. I'd like to do it. And he said that Belichick also told him how hard it was to prepare and play against the Ravens, and just was very gracious to him. Mello, is this a side of Belichick that we want to see, or would you prefer not have known that?
Well, I think better to know, because, I mean, this guy is not going to coach forever. And let's not wait until after he's retired to find out, everything about him. Because I'm hearing about the guy does have a sense of humor, and he can crack you up with, some one-liners and such. Can we, as he's, I don't know, getting older, can he mellow out a little bit and let us see some more of him so he's not so despised and hated? Because people are still talking about haven't won a Super Bowl since Spygate.
Oh, yeah. Haven't won Super Bowl since you cheated.
That's what his detractors are saying. And I got a lot of respect for the guy, but I'm not sure exactly what happened with the Spygate and why the commissioner would destroy evidence like that. But to each his own, I guess, on that one.
I'll get right back to you. I'm burning files. Hold on. Out of the office. Instead of out of the office, he's got I'm shredding files sign up on his door. That'd be awesome.
Please don't disturb.
Cover up in progress. The Philadelphia Eagles, they made Chip Kelly one boulder of a deal there, buddy. $32.5 million over 5 years. Whew.
That's a good introductory rate right there.
Man, for a guy who has never coached at the NFL level?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I'm saying I'm sticking to my guns on this. We hope we got the next greatest, newest thing here. But if we don't, we're going to look pretty foolish here, dishing out that kind of money.
Yes, that's a ton of money. And you've done so much work to get these rookie players' wage under control. What about rookie coach wage scale, Mello?
Hey, now you're talking. But, these guys, they got all the leverage. They can stay in college and command, the biggest, money that you can get in college, or they can go to the pros and get money more than established guys have. So they got the best of both worlds, if you ask me. It's a messed up system, but they're taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, and on one hand, you got to say you don't blame them for taking advantage of it, and then on the other hand, you're like, shouldn't you be setting a better example?
Well, when you've got 32 owners all vying for the same thing, and they're all billionaires, yeah, somebody's going to do things to get themselves to the front of the line. If that means stuffing a few more dollars in an envelope, then that's what they're going to do.
Jim Caldwell will remain the Ravens offensive coordinator next season.
Yay.
So Caldwell moved from quarterback's coach to offensive coordinator on December the 8th after John Harbaugh fired Cam Cameron. Now, get this. Here's the most peculiar statement I've heard in a while. Cam Cameron, he says that the Baltimore Ravens' decision to fire him as offensive coordinator was just what the team needed. It was a brilliant move, Cameron told the New York Times. Everyone on the team took a look in the mirror after that. I mean, do you say this to ensure that you come across as a non-sour grapes person? Or what's going on here? I wouldn't be so gracious.
It almost, I guess I'm trying to look at it from a business standpoint that, hey, anybody there could have been called out on not doing their job. It just happened to be me this time, so they all had to wake up and smell the coffee. I guess that's kind of the vibe that I'm getting from it. Why would you throw yourself under the bus trying to look that gracious?
I wouldn't. I'm sorry. I'd be a little hot because I'm like, you might have cheated me out of a Super Bowl ring. We're going to have some. We got a problem here.
And they're like, we weren't going to no Super Bowl with you calling the plays, bro.
Later on, this is just my own fake headline. Later on, Cam Cameron says, "Do I look like Tony Dungy to you?" No.
Oh.
The New Orleans Saints have fired defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo after one season, which was a record-setting season, but in the negative way. So they gave up 7,000 442 yards.
Wow.
That's the most ever in a single season.
That is unfathomable.
They gave up 454 points.
Wow. I'm having a hard time wrapping my mind around those kind of inflated numbers.
I mean, you might want to book orbits when you play them. Do you drive? Do you fly? Take a bus, a train?
That defense, I mean, it's an understatement. That defense was not good. Even when they won the Super Bowl, it was opportunistic defense, and you can't count on that. And getting every fumble recovery and all these turnovers that, and then you've got an offense that can score quickly and stuff. That defense wasn't good. I don't think he has the players. I don't think it's a scheme thing there. I just don't think that defense is very good.
No, they don't spend any money on that side of the ball, in my opinion.
No, they just a bunch of guys running around to the ball that can get fooled very easily on reverses and give up big chunk plays religiously through every game. It's just I think he's a good defensive coordinator. I just didn't think he had the pieces to work with down there.
The St. Louis Rams, they've hired Rob Ryan as their defensive coordinator. Mello, you said it. You said I could have a job tomorrow. He said the old gremlin was going to have a new job soon.
He's got it.
And do you think this will work? Because he's not going to get away with that weird attitude in St. Louis, I don't think.
Right. The coach there will have the reins on him or he won't be there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it'll be another mid-season offensive coordinator getting torched. The Raiders, they've hired former New York Jets offensive coordinator Tony Sparano as their offensive line / assistant head coach. You think he can be beneficial there? I mean, it definitely ain't a step down. I'll say that much.
Yeah, I like him. I think he did a good job. I think, they like these. That's what these teams do, is throw people under the bus and stuff. I think he's the guy that got thrown under the bus there. They had non-working parts he was supposed to make fit together, and it just didn't happen. I think, that's a much better fit with the Raiders.
Definitely. And, I mean, beggars can't be choosers at this point.
True that.
Although David Akers has been far from a sure thing lately, he will be the 49ers kicker in the Super Bowl.
Oh.
So Harbaugh made that decision on Monday. And Mello, I just have to pose it to you. Is this a tactical mistake that could come back to bite him?
Without a doubt. I say without a doubt. When you're ascending through the playoffs, you will see that the elite quarterbacks basically are the ones that get to move on, the guys that are playing the very best through the playoff time. Same thing for the kickers and stuff. If you don't have a quality kicker and stuff, hard to get to the big game. And then you get to the big game, that could be your weak link right there. And a game, that could be one of those games where every point is at a high premium, and then you got a kicker that you can't really rely on, and the other team's got a kicker that's just feeling his oats. This could be a recipe for disaster.
The New York Jets have stated that Darrelle Revis could be on the chopping block. So he fired off some tweets saying, "I'm speechless by far, but more importantly, I feel more upset for the Jet Nation for having to go through this. I guess we'll see how this plays out." Mello, explain to me how this is a shock when he played only 3 games last season.
Oh, that's right.
He's coming off
that. That's right. He wasn't even on the field.
He's coming off an ACL surgery, and he's going to be a free agent after next season. How on earth is this a shock to him or anybody else?
Because he's living on Revis Island. That's how it's a shock to him.
With Ricardo Montalban and then the little short guy that says the plane. They're all on that island together.
Yeah, they're all living on that island together, and this guy's he's going to be back into the real world in a minute here. And you have to, it's been a while since this Revis Island thing, and you're coming off that Achilles and stuff. How often do we change flavors here with this guy who's the number one? Now this guy's the number one and stuff. His title is the number one. That's something you kind of have to be on the field to maintain, and I think he thinks he's maintained it. They don't think he has.
Yeah, I don't think he has either. So I'll be very shocked if they hang on to him. I'm with him. I wouldn't keep him. I'd try to cut bait right now and get something.
What they're doing is not working, and they've got a new GM there, so you're going to see they have to make some changes there. So I think some drastic changes there because what they're doing is definitely not working.
All right, and lastly in the news, Mello, fans that watch the NFL games, they've grown accustomed to seeing that imaginary yellow line run across the TV. But thanks to Alan Amron, with backing from broadcaster Pat Summerall, there's a technology that's been developed, and it's called the First Down Laser System. So Amron is trying to shop this to the NFL. It would work in the stadium. So you in the stands would see this line on the field.
Oh, sweet.
That'd be crazy to me. So Greg Aiello says that they have not been convinced that it would work for every stadium and stuff, but they said that they're open to further discussion after the season's over. But I think this would be crazy, especially if you see like one of those line guys go through the line and half his body is like contorted afterwards. Like he got laser sliced in half or something. That'd be awesome. But I think that'd be cool for the fans. But I think we're getting a little spoiled.
They need to do something for the in-game experience at the stadium like that, because with this high definition TV business taking over, I mean, people are not going to go to the games, and they can have all the comforts of home and the quality picture and see all the replays. You know, there's not a lot calling people to be at the stadium where you can't really control the atmosphere with people drunk and acting stupid and such as that.
It sounds like some of my parties, though.
Well, this is true.
Can't control the atmosphere.
And they're saying at some of the old rat trap stadiums that aren't state of the art now that this system might not be able to work there.
They're not naming stadiums per se, but I bet you that's what they're thinking. They're like, Cleveland? No. They'll be like, this will be frozen at Lambeau.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait a minute. They have that heating element underneath the stadium.
Oh, that's right. It ain't no tundra, frozen tundra.
Fake tundra. Mel, are you ready to switch to what is fast become the most popular segment of the show? That's Not Football.
I'm sure something very disturbing is about to happen here, but I think I'm ready for it.
That's not football.
Oh, no. Why does it always have to be disturbing? That's what
Because these people with that is very disturbing what some of these people think is football.
Yeah, that's true. Well, Wes Welker's wife, Anna Burns Welker, she took to social media and took a few shots at the Ravens and the linebacker, Ray Lewis. Proud of my husband and the Pats. By the way, if anyone is bored, please go to Ray Lewis's Wikipedia page. 6 kids, 4 wives, acquitted for murder, paid a family off. Yay. What a Hall of Fame player, a true role model. So she later retracted those remarks.
Too late.
But what are you, but what do we call that?
She's a vicious little cobra, and that's an assault. That's not football.
And I tell you what, I should have took to Twitter and said, husband dropped at least 3 key passes. Has a girlfriend on the side? No, I'm just kidding. Former NFL player Fred Smoot reportedly peed his pants while he was handcuffed after being arrested on a DUI charge. Mellow?
That's nasty, and that is not football.
Well, from one puddle to another, Detroit Lions defensive tackle Ndamukong Suh is reportedly going to appear on ABC's upcoming show Celebrity Diving. Mello, I could only think you better add more water. What do we call that?
This is more like something you'd see at SeaWorld, I'm thinking. That's not football.
Yeah, it's a good one. Detroit Lions wide receiver Titus Young continued his quest to be released by the Lions on Friday by once again taking to Twitter. So he lashed out earlier this week and threatened that he'd never play football again. And then he thought he'd direct some more negative comments. Oh, I'm not done. If y'all are going to cut me, let me go. I'm tired of the threats. Young shortly followed with another tweet that stated, never needed the money. Give me $1 and a ball. Bet I come back. Hall of Fame, Pound Hall of Fame. Mello.
That dude is an idiot that doesn't even realize he's defacing his own trade value, and that is not football.
Catherine Webb, who we talked about last week with Brent Mustard. Hey, whoa, smoking.
Look at the lovely lady.
She received a tweet from Darnell Dockett, defensive tackle of the Arizona Cardinals. So he tweeted his phone number to her, and it was public, but he claimed it was supposed to be a direct message. So he said, it's not that serious. I was just laughing at people responding because people were really thinking I was going to put my number on Twitter. Anybody that knows Darnell Dockett, the real me, not just the football player, not just the guy you see on TV. Anyone that knows me personally knows there is never a dull moment in my life. I'm always excited. I'm always thinking about the next gimmick, the next trick. And I would have got her if I really wanted her, but I don't think she's my type. I'm not into the thinner girls and the modeling thing like that. I like hood chicks. I like girls with a couple of stab wounds, bullet holes, been knocked up a few times. I like girls who, have bad credit when they're 21. Mellow.
Oh, my word. That is way too much information, Darnell. That is not football.
Bullet holes? Wow. Something smells like a rat.
That's
Hood rat.
Sleepless nights right there now.
Goodness. Jim Irsay gave a Twitter follower $8,500 for guessing the Patriots-Ravens score. Mellow?
That's gambling. That's not football.
Why don't I follow him? Darn it. Dang it. And lastly, saying he doesn't want to be remembered as a bust. Quarterback JaMarcus Russell, who hasn't played in the NFL since 2009, is attempting a comeback. Russell was the former #1 overall pick of the Oakland Raiders in 2007. The 6'6" Russell, who reportedly weighed 320 pounds in the fall, is down to a slim, trim 308 pounds. Smells like someone's out of money, Mello.
What a bust. There's no change in that baby, and that's not football.
And for the next 1 minute, 18 seconds, I need people to endure some horrible TPE network audio from the draft that JaMarcus was in, because this is critical and key. Let's hear what we had to say. Let's reach back in time, Mello, and hear what we had to say, all right?
Okay.
The first pick of the draft, JaMarcus Russell. We knew it. He is #1 overall. Mello, your thoughts?
Well, that's Al. You knew he was pulling the strings on that deal. I hope he pans out to be, but I know he's got the size and he can throw the ball a mile, but if you look at his whole body of work, I'm just not overly sold on him. The premier talent, yeah, you can hype it up to be whatever it is, see Brady Quinn, but it's not really there this year. I mean, Calvin Johnson is the only player to me in this draft in the top 5 players, I'd say, that you could go every year. This guy could be, next year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, this guy's a top 5 draft pick. Any of these drafts. These other guys, I don't know about that. Yeah. I think of Tim Couch and Chuck Long and guys that were really talented, got on bad teams, took a lot of punishment, never recovered.
You're right. 21 years old, you can have all the size in the world, but if you don't have the mental aspect of playing in the NFL, that's a huge jump from college to NFL. I think I would have went with get on them fries, Calvin Johnson, myself. Oh, so Mello, you gave us a 3-for-1. You called Brady Quinn a bust, and he was and is. You called this guy. You said he could be a bust, and you were correct. And you called Calvin Johnson. We both called Calvin Johnson, actually. So is that crazy, going back and listening to that?
That is crazy, because I couldn't quite remember. I know I wasn't high on the guy, but I did not remember my exact words on it. Yeah, I was very apprehensive about him, and for good cause.
So one of the guys we're talking about is the all-time receiving leader And then the other guy we're talking about is 308 pounds and out of the league.
I don't see this comeback, dude. I doubt you see it either.
If they said he was coming back as like a defensive end or a tackle, I'm on board. But but no dice on coming back as a QB. Get out of here. Mello, are you ready to run down the old rap sheet?
Oh, yes. What have they been up to?
Calling all cars. Calling all cars. Be advised, we have NFL players on the loose.
Yeah, and you said it right. What are they up to? Two masked men robbed the suburban Denver home of New England Patriots defensive back Derek Martin while he was playing in the AFC Championship Game. Aurora police spokesman Frank Fania told the Denver Post that the robbers forced their way into Martin's home. This is on Sunday night, and there was at least one adult and several children there. They took numerous items, but nobody was hurt. Is that freaking insane?
Well, we know where he's going to be.
Yeah.
Let's make our move.
Yeah, we know where you're going to be tied up for a while. That's crazy, dude.
Lame.
A 46-year-old man has been arrested in a stabbing near the Georgia Dome following the Falcons' NFC Championship Game loss. The stabbing may have been an argument about food during a tailgate party outside the Georgia Dome, since neither party attended the actual game. Mello, sounds like somebody didn't like the menu.
I've heard of that. Oh, that food was to die for, but come on.
Literally. Dallas Cowboys starting nose tackle Jay Ratliff was arrested and charged with driving while intoxicated in the early morning hours Tuesday after he crashed his 2011 Ford pickup truck into an 18-wheeler. Man, at least that team's learned their lesson, right?
Yeah, they're on it.
Freaking imbeciles. New York Jets coach Rex Ryan was involved in a car accident last week in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, people. The team's public relations department confirmed this on Tuesday. Ryan drove through an intersection on January 14th and collided with another car, which ran into a third car, according to the police report. The police issued Ryan a warning rather than a ticket or summons.
Okay.
One witness told police that he saw Ryan run a red light, and Ryan even told the police that he, quote, tried to beat the light. But, Mello, if he were Tom Brady, they would have changed the way the lights are sequenced.
You got that right.
New rule. 49ers running back Frank Gore was fined $10,500 on Wednesday for wearing his socks too low in the NFC Championship Game.
Get low, get low, get low.
New England Patriots QB Tom Brady was fined $10,000 by the NFL for making contact with Baltimore Ravens safety Ed Reed on a slide late in the first half of the AFC Championship Game.
Hiya.
So socks are worth socks are worth $500 more than somebody trying to take somebody out.
It doesn't have to make sense. It just has to bring in dollars.
That is ridiculous. New rule: quarterbacks can kick people in the freaking knee.
Hiya.
Try and tear their ACLs up. And lastly, the family of Junior Seau has sued the NFL, claiming the former linebacker's suicide was the result of brain disease caused by violent hits he sustained while playing football. The wrongful death lawsuit blames the NFL for its acts of omissions that hid the dangers of repetitive blows to the head. And any of you guys that listen to me know what repeated blows to the head do, because I used to be a boxer.
I don't know how they win that lawsuit, to tell you the honest truth. He had his own training area away from his teammates, so his teammates never saw him get treated.
Are you serious?
Yes.
Wow.
That just came out. I just heard that just the other day. His teammates never saw him get treated, so he doesn't have a record for concussions. I don't know how they're gonna get around that.
That's ridiculous. Mello, we're not even going to insult anyone's intelligence by picking the Pro Bowl.
They're gonna play it then.
Or the Who's Left Bowl, we should
Yeah,
call it.
I mean, the way they bag out, the bagging out's going to start really quick here. So I don't know if they're going to have enough players to play the game, and if those, players there are going to be motivated any more than they were last year when Aaron Rodgers said something about them.
I don't plan on watching.
No, probably not. Aaron Rodgers failed his postseason physical,
What?
so he can't play in it.
Oh, boy, what was wrong, did they say?
They did not say. That's all they said was he wanted to play. But everybody remembers last year him talking about the effort of the players. He was really disappointed with the way people weren't playing in the game, weren't trying.
Not good. Melo, any other stories or anything that you want to touch on that we may have missed?
Can we go back to the Titus Young deal? What are the Lions going to do with this guy? He's, they want to get something out of him. I know they want him off the team. And I was listening to one Detroit sportscaster say 0% chance he ever catches another pass for the Lions. They want something for him, but how are you going to get anything for him when he won't get off the freaking Twitter?
I don't see how he's going to even be in the league a year or 2 years from now.
Isn't he making
the way
himself
his
very
attitude,
unsavory, looking for any potential teams? Because he's got talent. There's no question about it.
But his attitude, man, I can just see that being destructive wherever he goes, man.
Yeah, I don't. Who can corral this cat?
Because you got all these receivers. They always say, "I have to get the ball. Please get me the ball." There's only one football, and then there's a running back. There's other wide receivers.
Yeah, you've got Calvin Johnson on your team, so good luck getting the ball, buddy boy.
Yeah, we'll throw it to you instead of him, especially when you're dropping passes. Has anybody talked about that?
Nope.
Nobody talks about him dropping open, clean first downs?
This cat, in his mind, believes he's a number one receiver. He's acting like a diva being a number one receiver, but I'm not saying he's number one receiver material. He's too small, for one thing. He's a good slot receiver.
Definitely. Melo, anything else?
That's all I got.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this edition of the NFL Fan Podcast. Make sure you head to tpenetwork.com to check out the show, check out the YouTube video, or subscribe in iTunes, Zune, and wherever else fine podcasts are served. For Melo Bets, I'm Hank Davis. Until next time, my friends, we're signing off.
If you have comments or feedback, you can email the guys at tprfans@yahoo.com. That's tprfans@yahoo.com, or call the voicemail line at +1 810 309 8445.